Okay, this morning we're kicking off Live's Love Week to help us start the countdown to our love show. Here to help get us started on things with tips on how to navigate all the different stages of love is leadership and relationship expert Dr. Karyn Gordon. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Obviously, I am ready to take notes because I have a white magic marker and a faux chalkboard.
That's
All right,
right.
walk us through the first stage.
Okay, so stage one is attraction. So I want both of you to write down what is the number one thing that attracted you to each other. So go ahead. Initially? Okay, so initially, go ahead and write it down.
Can I do a couple?
Nope, one. Okay. One mark. We've got to get very clear rules here. One.
This is so vapid.
Well, and so this is stage one. Stage one is attraction. It's the love. It's the hot. It's the heavy. It's chemistry. It's passion. But it's really important that while we're paying attention to that attraction, we also pay attention to what our head is also wanting. Right? We've got to have the head and the heart in alignment.
Right.
That's right.
Okay. So very important for stage one, everybody. Okay. So what do you have, Kelly? What do you have?
Face.
Ooh. Okay, and?
I know.
Eyes. There's a lot of body parts.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's what we saw. I mean, you know,
it's
a visual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's good, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It feels very. Once I got to know him, I liked really other things about him.
Okay. Well, that's
but
good.
when I first met him, it was
the
just
face.
his
It was
face.
attraction.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of stage number one. It's attraction.
So what's after the attraction?
Okay. So
stage?
after attraction, everybody, it is dating and commitment. So now we're kind of leaning in. So now we've got that attraction, which is great. So now we want to lean in and keep the conversations flowing. And you want to get a clear sense of self. We've talked about this on some of the other shows, right? Like have a clear sense of self. Who are you? What's your self-leadership, your emotional intelligence, and having the courage to voice that.
Yes.
Right.
Really important.
Very good. What's next? What's
the
the
next
next
one
stage?
is actually starting a family. So you're like, okay, you know what? This is working. Okay, head and heart are in alignment. I like this. We're going to actually kind of lean into this. We're going to start having a family.
We had all of these discussions.
You had all. Did you have? Did you really?
We did. No,
you actually did.
We had all of these discussions.
Amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
so and so for stage three, it's really around kind of talking about your vision, your shared vision as a couple. So what do you want? What do the two of you actually want? And making sure you don't actually lose yourself. I mean, we all have friends that have lost themselves in that relationship, right?
But there's compromise as well.
Yes.
Wait, I think the important thing that we learned is like we had to stay married to each other while we raised kids. It was important to not become married to the children.
100%.
And lose this thing.
Correct.
Because we knew that we were raising them to go out.
To launch them.
Yeah.
And that actually leads into the stage four, which is not cancer, everybody.
Right.
We're talking about
Stage
thriving
4.
in relationships, right? So stage four is actually really making the decision, we want to have a family together. And so the big thing for this one is making sure that you don't lose your sense of self, you don't lose your sense of you as a couple, but now you're actually going to start teaching that sense of self to your children. Really start teaching that sense of that leadership with your kids, with what do they want, so that they can properly be launched. We got to do stage four really well, otherwise we're not going to be able to do the next stage.
That's right.
Well afterwards.
All right, we're going to take a break. More on how to navigate all the different stages of a relationship when we come back.
We're back with Dr. Karyn Gordon, and now she's going to break down the different stages of the relationship. Walk us through stage 5. We've gotten through stage 4.
To
now
stage
we're
4.
at the empty nest stage.
Now we're at the empty nest stage, so I'm going to explain this, but while I do, on your chalkboard, write down your favorite part of being in the empty nest stage, okay? And it's also called empty nest stage. It's called the bird launching. That's like a new word for it, because the empty nest stage sounds a little bit negative, or like the next chapter. But this is the stage where all of a sudden the birdies have left the nest. Birdies have left the nest, and all of a sudden, moms and dad are like, "Whoa, who are we? What's going on here?"
Right.
And so we want to make sure that we actually create a new vision. A lot of people talk about adventure as one of the big things, and so in redesigning that. So okay, so what do you have?
I put freedom/time.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm writing reclaiming my time, like reclaiming time.
Reclaiming your time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
but neither is with each other. I'm just kind of curious about this. Like neither of them is with each other, or is that kind of time with each other?
No, our time.
Oh, your
Our
time.
together
Oh, I
time.
love that.
Like
okay. Love.
We travel. We go away on the weekends.
Amazing.
We do things that we always wanted to do, but we never had time to do because we had to get to the match or the track meet or there was 1,000 things we had to do.
Right.
And now we can
you can do it.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing, and we were talking about this during the break, is around also allowing yourself a little bit to grieve a little bit.
Oh, yes.
Grieve in the stage.
Yes.
And then also help your kids actually establish a new relationship with your children. right?
Yes.
So
We love,
yeah.
can I say something? We love our relationship with our adult children.
Yeah, and it's totally different.
So
It's so
different.
different.
Totally
So
different.
that's all kind of part of that empty nesting stage. So that's number 5. Number 6 is a tough one, I'm going to be honest. That's the health challenges. That's where either we're having a challenge with our health, or our spouse, or our parents.
Yes.
And so you got to like lean into that self-care and really try to develop and actually empower your children. And then the last one is actually really good. It's legacy. Stage 7 is legacy. Really thinking about what's the legacy that we really want to kind of create, making sure they're actually involving our children in this. So, and it's also the stage of actually reflection. And so
Well,
that's
it's
a really
interesting you
neat
say
one.
children, that they are essentially, that is your legacy. They are, that's our legacy.
That's your
is
legacy.
Our children, as far as I see it. And whatever we do professionally, or what,
Yes.
the most important one
Well,
for
I
us
think
is
the fact
our
that
children.
they've grown up to be, I mean, they're our children, but they're lovely people. We're very, we like and love who
Right.
they've turned into as adults.
The two of you are so purposeful in this. Like I was saying this, like it's really beautiful. And actually, this is something really important for everybody at home to think about. Who is somebody in your life that is crushing in each of these stages? So we can actually look at each of these stages and be inspired.
We do have friends that are like one stage ahead of us.
Okay.
Willie and Gretchen Randolph, I talk about them a lot.
Yeah.
They have been very much benchmarks for us. Like when we get here, we need to make sure we're doing this.
Beautiful.
We
Right.
need to be, like, it's nice to have an older,
Yes.
and they're not that much older than
Just
us, but they
mentors,
are
kind of.
just like
Mentors.
mentors to us,
Yeah.
and they've been that mentors to us through our entire relationship,
Beautiful.
through all of our child rearing, and we've been very fortunate to have them.
Amazing.
For this and more, make sure to pick up a copy of Dr. Karyn Gordon's book, The 3 Chairs. Next.